Oh, so we're doing this now. Great. Not like I need more stress about a topic that has literally meaningless points to my life, but let's do it anyways! The subbed against dubbed battle. A war that has been fought needlessly since its inception by some nerds that wanted to prove a strange superiority over one another. But if you ask me, I could really care less about the topic, but they just keep bringing me back! So why do people fight so harshly about this matter to this day? Why are there the subbed Puritans and the dubbed soldiers? I don't get it, because in all reality, both are okay in my book. But if you really strip me down to get a real answer other than my moderate ass, I would lean more towards dubbed, and not because I'm lazy or can't read. But that's what this video is about, to take a hard knuckle look at to which side is better from the many perspective than one or the other. Who the fuck are you? I'm you from the future, and I'm here to warn you. Well, alright, stop twiddling our dick. What's up? You're not gonna ask me? You seemed pressed for time. Right. So, oh yeah. You're gonna piss off a bunch of weebs and no one will like you anymore. So, there's that. Yeah, wouldn't be the first time. Well, You built a time machine just to waste mine! Okay, I'm sorry, I'll go now! Okay, so let's get a few things out of the way before I really get into this. First of all, I have no real dislikes to dubbed or subbed. Either way I get my anime is fine by me. In fact, you guys know that by my last video on Crunchyroll. You know, the leading internet provider of subbed anime. That site I have a subscription to. So whatever your argument is against me not liking subbed content is invalid. However, that does not disregard my love for dubbed anime, as I do frequent Funimation and the dubbed episodes of Fairy Tail and Show by Rock. That's right, I liked dubbed Show by Rock. I watched trash. First and foremost, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of subbed anime and what demographic they may be after. If you ask several different people, you're gonna get several opinions, but one of the most common answers is that it remains true to the actual context of the dialogue of the show. So it by definition doesn't baby you. It by all means gives you full context without the loss of words and translation. Is what I would say if that were the case. The reality of the matter is that words get lost in translation regardless of what the editors do. Mistranslations happen all the time in both anime and video games that are brought to the US. Why? Because of two reasons. First of all, there are words in the English language that do not exist in the Japanese language. Second is because the creators during the time of the translator's editing phase are actually told to write in a certain way with no means of backing down, so the translators are sometimes at the mercy of the creators. So, who is subbed anime really for? If I may stick my neck out a bit here, I think it's more for the up-to-date viewership, people who like to watch anime as soon as it comes out. These people I consider have a lot of time on their hands, and then justifies the reasoning of, just watch the subbed, it by definition does not work. I am an adult. I have a job. If you have time to watch subbed anime, fine. If you live in your parents' basement watching anime all day, fine. If you like jacking it to 2D girls the majority of your day, fine. But don't yell at me for like a Johnny Young fucking Bosch. This is where I draw the line here. I am a time-sensitive person. I cut back on things that take up my time. And if I have to spend my time to focus on every single goddamn moment girls drink tea over playing music in a rock band anime, why the hell would I expend my energy, time, and patience to focus on such meaningless banter? I can learn more about these characters in English. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that subbed anime is more time-centric. It's more for people that truly love new and upcoming content. It's not about the voice acting or the translations. It's about discovery. It's about what's new for you. It's not something so fucking meaningless as these points that these bunch of weebs try to spew into their reviews. That being said, let's look at what makes dubbed anime good and bad in its own right. I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to dubbed anime, it's not hard to see the mistakes that were made in the past, but as time grew and the profession progressed, we've come a long ways away from the late 90s and early 2000s. I feel like the best example is by watching this episode of Pokemon.
These donuts are great! Jelly-filled are my favorite!
You also have to consider that some companies are just not as on par as others, Sentai Filmworks being the best example. Don't get me wrong, I love Sentai's dubs. However, their main problem stems from their licensed titles and their casting decisions. Can someone explain to me why they get such amazing titles only for them to fuck it up? I get it that Sentai has some pretty shoddy casting decisions, also they have a very limited cast, and sometimes the director is not all there, but how can you get such amazing titles only for them to be shot down the drain with terrible casting? There are legitimate times I cannot defend this, but there are just sometimes some amazing hits every year, but every other title is just lackluster. That aside, I think it's important to mention that there are other companies than Sentai, there being two other major dubbing companies. First is the ever so prominent Funimation, the other being Viz Media. I mean, I would add Aniplex to the table, but their library sorely lacks in contrast to the others I have named. Funimation, being the biggest distributor and personal favorite company, is as large as its licenses and library, and honestly the only English-based competitor that manages to do dubs just weeks after the anime's initial release. Although it's a company that holds tons of amazing titles like Dragon Ball and Fairy Tail, there are a few misses to its major hits, but also they are equally on the same footing with Crunchyroll in the matter that they are an amazing internet streaming provider, with their library being both having subbed and dubbed anime, and considering how a subscription starts at $5.99 a month, it's totally worth the money. Lastly is Viz Media, holding quite a few notable titles like Naruto, Bleach, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, One Punch Man, all amazing stuff. And the good news is they have a streaming app as well called Neon Alley. To be honest, a lot of the stuff I hear from this company is often fairly good. I don't think I've come across a bad dub of any of their shows. Of course, if you look at anything from back then, you can tell how much things have become dated. As for other distributors like Netflix or Aniplex, I guess they're good. Haven't had a problem with the stuff that they come out with, like Seven Deadly Sins or Kill la Kill. At this point, I feel like I've been talking about a company's praises more than the actual reason why dubbed anime is good, but I feel like a lot of conversations begin and end with why a dubbed anime will be good or bad is based off of the company that dubs them. So, with that in mind, let's take a quick overview of why dubbed anime is good in its own right. So, if I may get a little personal here, of my most best memories of anime comes from me sneaking out of my room late at night to watch the stuff on Adult Swim when I was fairly young, and I looked forward to new stuff on Toonami during its earlier runs. I feel like that's where the demographic begins with people that love anime. It starts with the most commonplace in media, television, and I loved watching TV and watching TV shows that I hadn't gotten a good grasp of, and I feel like that's where most people get into anime is through the mainstream. Look at it from this perspective. My first anime was from a late night program and stuff that we had easy access to. The internet didn't have Crunchyroll or Funimation or Neon Alley. We had a magical box in the living room. It was great. And we have ease of access to people in the dubbing community through conventions. It's awesome being able to meet people like Kyle LeBaron, Matthew Mercer, Monica Rial, or Jeremy Lay. We can't get that from many Japanese voices. And when people complain about the English voice actors, let me give you a quick reminder that they have quite a difficult job. First of all, the casting decisions, the timing of the recording sessions, the voice actor has to be in there for 4 hours, and they're yelling, retaining a voice, remembering the lines, matching the lip flaps, doing retakes, sometimes even reworking lines. Let's also not forget the people in the background, the editors that had to put these scenes in audio together, then also the writers that had to rework the lines to match the lip flaps. You want to know? I think you get it. So what are my final thoughts? Well, like I said, I don't care how I get my anime, I just want to watch anime. It doesn't matter that you loved subbed or dubbed version of Show by Rock, just matters that you are still watching furry anime trash. Hey there everybody, thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, let me know. Hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the little bell to know when a new video comes out. Also, if you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon. And lastly, huge thanks to Greg Zilla for making the character art. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Laters!